1 2 1 2.
No.
1 2 1 2.
The November 15th, 2023 regular meeting of the Planning Commission will come to order. Please rise and follow Commissioner Duarte into the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can we call roll, please?
Commissioner Guerra?
Here.
Commissioner Duarte?
Present.
Vice Chair Uva?
Present.
And Chair Ortiz.
Present. This is a time set aside for oral communications for the Planning Commission. Do any commissioners wish to make an announcement, report on conference meeting, or request on items for future agenda items? Vice Chair Uva.
Nothing for me.
Commissioner Duarte.
None for me.
And Commissioner Guerra.
None for me either.
And I have none. Does the Community Development Director have any report on City Council actions or any other general updates?
I have a couple of updates. Thank you, Chair Ortiz. Just first of all, congratulations to Chair Ortiz on his victory for a council seat. And with that, our department will be working with the City Clerk's office for a replacement of Planning Commissioner appointment. So more information to come on that. The other update, just look in your email inboxes. At the end of this week, we'll be putting out our Community Development Department updates, which is a compilation of slides that provide updates on different development projects in the city, updates related to code enforcement and other activities that we undertake in the Community Development Department. And those are all my updates for today.
Thank you so much. I'm honestly gonna miss working with all you guys, so thank you. Moving on to non-agenda public comment. Persons wishing to address the Planning Commission on city business not listed on the agenda may do so at this time. Persons wishing to address the Planning Commission on any item listed on the agenda other than public hearing items may do so at this time. Persons wishing to address the public hearing items shall do so at this time. It is requested but not required that you state your name, address, or subject matter upon which you want to speak. Please limit your comments to no more than 4 minutes. Pursuant to the Brown Act, no discussion or action other than a brief response, referral to the city planning staff, or schedule for a subsequent agenda shall be taken by the Planning Commission on any issue brought forth. That's not listed on agenda. The public comment is now open. No one would like to speak? All right, moving forward. Moving on to consent calendar. Approval of minutes of October 18, 2023 Planning Commission meeting. Do we have a motion or a second?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Can we please take a vote?
Oh.
Commissioner Guerra?
I was gonna say, what do you want me to do? My screen doesn't work on there. Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Duarte?
I have abstained, I was not here.
Vice Chair Uva?
Yes.
And Chair Ortiz.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Yeah.
Now we're going to move on to public hearing, tentative parcel plan, PLN-23-000136. Does staff have proof of publication for tonight?
Yes.
Will the Community Development Director introduce staff making the presentation tonight?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Tonight, we'll have Associate Planner Abraham Luna presenting tonight's item.
Good evening, Chair Ortiz and members of the Planning Commission. First item on the agenda is a tentative parcel map to subdivide the property at 12020 Reeves Avenue. The property outlined in red is located on Reeves Avenue and Cole Street, south of Student Gray. The subject site is zoned R1 5000 with the surrounding properties to the north, south, east, and west similarly zoned. This is a street view of the existing property. As part of the entire project, the existing home will be demolished after receiving the required permits through building and safety if this tentative parcel map is approved. The applicant is here today requesting to subdivide the property, which will result in the creation of 2 new parcels and build a new single-family residential dwelling on each. The existing parcel is 29,209 square feet, and it will be subdivided to make 2 nearly identical parcels, each with similar widths and depths to the surrounding properties located in the neighborhood. The newly created parcels will have an area of 14,639 square feet and 14,570 square feet. The area of the newly created parcels will be nearly 3 times larger than the minimum required for the zone it's located in. Any new single-family dwelling must adhere to development standards in the R1 zone through its ministerial review. This is a summary of the development standards the property is required to have in order to create a new parcel. So the minimum lot area is 5,000 square feet for the zone. Again, these properties both exceed the minimum by 7,570 square feet. The minimum width is 50 feet for the zone. It exceeds it by 18 feet and 75. The minimum lot depth is exceeded by 50 feet, nearly 52 feet. During our development review committee, standard conditions were provided by the various departments, and here are some examples of those conditions. So the first one, condition number 8, is a planning condition. It states all future single-family residential developments on the property shall adhere to the Downey Municipal Code development standards, which include but are not limited to Chapter 3, Chapter 5, Chapter 7, within the Article 9 of the Downey Municipal Code, and the residential design guidelines adopted by the city, as they may be amended from time to time by resolution or ordinance. The 2 following conditions are conditions by building and safety. They state all future construction shall comply with the most recent version of the California Building Code as adopted by the city. And lastly, prior to the commencement of construction, the applicant shall obtain all required permits. Additionally, the applicant shall obtain all necessary inspections and permit final prior to beginning of operation of the site. And in conclusion, staff can make all required findings in a positive manner and recommend the Planning Commission adopt the attached resolution and approve PLN 23-00136. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Do any commissioners have any questions of staff? Vice Chair Uva.
Yes, just, I think maybe 2 questions. On an R1 5,000 lot, 1 house is all that's allowed, correct?
One primary dwelling.
One
Yes,
primary
correct.
residence. The ADU is a separate thing. Okay, that makes total sense. Will each house on each lot have at least a 2-car garage?
It is required by the Downey Municipal Code, yes.
Okay. Those are my questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Guerra.
First of all, before the meeting, I asked our city attorney and our community development director. I live at 7702 Yankee Street, and just right around the corner, a couple of blocks away. So they did look it up to make sure that I wasn't within the 500 feet. I was between 500 and 1,000. And our city attorney, you mentioned a couple of things that are conditional on me for participating, or thoughts?
Yes, Commissioner Guerra. For the record, Commissioner Guerra and I consulted before the meeting regarding any potential conflict, given the location of his primary residence on Yankee Circle. Based on the circumstances, I concluded there was no conflict, and I advised Commissioner Guerra accordingly.
I just wanted to go on the record. It doesn't impact me one way or the other, and so forth, but it is right in the corner. I do have a couple questions. How old is the current house that's there now? Do we know? And I'll tell you why I'm asking before we get into any historical preservation issues and allowing a demolition. That's all. I'm just asking. Is there,
From memory, I don't recall. I believe it was built in the late 40s.
okay. But we don't have any record of anything historical. No famous person lived there. So,
Through the chair, Commissioner Guerra's question regarding having any historical documentation on the property. We do not. As of the preparation of this report, the city has not undertaken any type of citywide survey or anything of that nature.
okay. I felt I needed to ask after the list. And then another question. So the width, I was trying to find the width on Reeves. And so now you're gonna have two entrances, right? Because that lot is very deceiving. On the front of it, it's like you don't see it that deep. And I mean, I saw from the top and everything else. So how are there gonna be two driveways on that lot to go in there?
So we've been working with the applicant on preliminary plans for the project. The plans state it'll be a shared driveway aisle, so one driveway wide enough for the two parcels. But again, this may change. These are preliminary plans. But each parcel is allowed to have a driveway, yes.
And we know that, I mean, we know the building codes, you're not gonna allow two houses to be built without it being compliant with the building codes, but do you have any idea what's gonna be there, or what, you know, have they talked to you, the applicants, regarding what kind of housing, what kind of design or anything like that? Or does it, at this point?
So we have been working with the applicant again for plans. It's very preliminary, but it'll be one primary dwelling, potentially a ADU. On the style, it'll be a revival Spanish style. And again, they will adhere to the development standards and the residential design guidelines that the city has.
So you can have, based on this, so you got 14,000 foot lots, which is still a good sized lot. So you can have, each one can have a primary residence and then an ADU on there. So potentially you could have 4 residences technically on it? Or would the ADUs not come into play? I mean, I guess you would allow them on each one, right? Because there's 2 lots?
Specifically for ADUs, the state allows a primary dwelling, ADU, and a JADU, so potentially 3. But again, no proposal has been made at this time.
Okay, so we could technically have 6 there? Is that what you're saying? If we subdivide it, you got a 14,000 foot lot.
Those are, yes, absolutely. Those are very relevant questions, and through the chair, if I may address that. The R1 zone in general allows one primary dwelling. So in the previous map, you saw the yellow area, which is the R1 5,000 zone, which is the location where this property is located. Technically, all of those properties are allowed to have an ADU. And as Mr. Abraham Luna mentioned, also a junior accessory dwelling unit. So the subdivision is in that zone, so would also be able to exercise that right to develop not only the single family dwelling, one on each lot, but also an ADU and a JADU. And that's not a consequence of necessarily this subdivision, but that's something that's already allowed in the zone. And that's something actually that's mandated by each city through the state. So
Right, but-
hopefully that answers your question.
It does, it scares me, because it's like, I mean, I don't have a problem with 2, but now you can have potentially 6 residences using the same driveway. That makes, on a busy street, that makes a big difference. Have you talked to the applicants? Is there any discussion of what their plans are?
Again, the plans are for a primary dwelling potentially, but this is all preliminary review. Presented to you is the tenant parcel map, which is just the subdivision.
Right, okay, well, thank you for that.
Commissioner Duarte, do you have any questions?
No questions for staff.
And I have none. Thank you so much. Before I open the public hearing and call the applicant or their representative, this will be the time for the planning commissioners to disclose any pre-hearing site visits or pre-hearing discussions that the commissioners may have had about the project. Vice Chair Uva, do you have any?
I did visit the site, walked the sidewalk and tried to look beyond the fence and tried to see deep, far back and went to the other side and tried to look. It's a very big, wide lot. That's all I did, no contact with anyone.
Commissioner Duarte,
None for me.
Commissioner Guerra.
I had no the same thing. I walked it and drive it and so forth. It is deceiving.
And I have none. Will the applicant or their representative please come forward to give testimony?
Good evening. My name is Guadalupe Burgos. My address is 5656 Mayberry Avenue, Rancho Cucamonga, California, 91737. And I'm a friend of the family, actually, so whatever you want to ask me, I'm here.
Do any of the commissioners have any questions of applicant? Commissioner Vice Chair Uva, do you have any questions?
Sure, I'm going to go along the lines of Commissioner Guerra. What plans do the owners have besides just building, if the lots are split, the one house, do they plan on having one ADU and a junior ADU, or do they know yet what they want to do?
Right now, they want to go ahead and do the subdivisions. Once we have the subdivisions, potentially one house on the front and ADU on the back. No junior ADU as far as what we know.
Okay, that's all, thank you.
Commissioner Guerra?
That's on each lot?
Correct. So that would be the primary residence and an ADU on the back, correct.
Okay. And it's all shared, one shared driveway, is that what I understand? Because it doesn't seem wide enough to have the two, and you said, the planning had told me it was it's gonna be one shared driveway?
Yes, and it's still in the works with the planning. That could change, we don't know yet.
Okay.
Right now, we're just trying to get the subdivision.
Okay. Is there enough room for, I'm gonna ask the staff this, is there enough room for two driveways in the front facing Reeves?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
The widths are 64 feet in width. That could accommodate a shared driveway
Okay.
or two.
Okay. All right, I wish you had more info on the other, again, just because it's like that main street there, and I understand having such a huge lot, wanting to subdivide it, that makes complete sense to me. Because Downey's historically had these huge lots like that. 29,000 square feet is huge.
Yes.
But potentially to have 4 residences on it, it scares me from that perspective. But yeah, thank you.
All right.
Commissioner Duarte, do you have any questions?
No, I don't have any questions.
And I have none. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Can I ask a question of staff? And I'm sorry, Chairman. Is this, so the neighbors all got notified of this and so forth? Okay.
As it was verified at the beginning of the opening of this item, we did provide a notice of this item by mailing notices to everyone within 500 feet radius, and also through a newspaper notice in the Downey Patriot as required by our code. If I may ask a question through the chair, just so I can get an understanding of Chair Guerra's concern, is the concern that there's only one driveway, or that there would be 2 driveways with relation to the driveways?
I think it'd be better to have 2.
It would be
instead of
better to have
one,
2.
to have, 4 families driving down the same driveway just to get home.
I see. And if I may offer through the chair for discussion and deliberation by the commission, there are abilities to place conditions on this entitlement. It is the desire of the commission to have a condition that addresses the number of driveways that would be appropriate. So if you would like to discuss that, and if that's something you would like us to incorporate, we can work on language for that.
I like that better. I like that better only because it takes away from it being like, a fourplex, so.
And Commissioner Duarte, you have any questions?
No questions.
May staff confirm that there's been correspondence in favor or opposition of this application?
No correspondence was received for this item.
Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor or opposition to the application? You may do so at this time.
Good evening, council. My name is Justin Phillips, and I live at 12030 Reeves Avenue, which is right next door. I am very appalled and concerned with this planning. I just moved my mother over there for her retirement house, and to find out that the next 2 years or however long is just going to be filled with traffic and noise and construction is very concerning. Now, on the take of what you were saying about the driveway and the traffic, I know for a fact, because I've seen it, that on Bernatch Street, there has been plenty of T-bones, accidents. And now you're going to have 6 units, possible 6 units, being built right next to my mother's house, and adding more traffic concerns me, especially coming out of one driveway. This is not to make Downey look good. This is to make an investment. And that is what they are trying to do on this property. Whether or not they're within their means of the law to do it, you've got to ask yourself, is this the best thing for Downey, or we need to put limitations on this? I have, my family has owned that property, 12030 Rives Avenue, for multiple generations. My grandparents lived there. And now to come full circle so my mom can live there and find out that this is how she's going to spend the rest of her life dealing with this is not how I want it. We need to make sure that it is going to be safe for all residents around that place. We would like to make sure that our neighborhoods are going to be safe as far as traffic goes, and especially with noise pollution. I just want you guys to, keep that in mind going forward with your decision tonight, that it will affect not only my mother, but other people in that neighborhood, what you decide to do tonight. Thank you very much.
Would anybody else like to speak in favor or opposition to the project? Or would the applicant care to rebuttal or have something to say to the last comment?
Through the chair also, if the applicants, I don't know if they're welcome to approach the podium, but just another item of discussion is while the public hearing is open, if the Planning Commission is going to deliberate and consider language regarding the number of driveways, it would be a good idea to ask the applicant if they would be amenable to a condition related to either 1 or 2 driveways, depending on the commission's desire on that.
Would the applicant care to discuss having 2 driveways?
Good evening again. As far as the driveways, it's something that we could discuss with Abraham. So I don't see a problem putting 2 driveways. We have plenty of space as far as the width. So if that would be a safety issue or anything like that, yeah, definitely. We could address it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
And Chair Ortiz, if I may, related to the comment from the public on the construction hours, similar to one of our recent items that came to the commission, I believe the last one, there is an ability to place more stricter conditions related to construction hours. If I'm not mistaken, our construction hours are 7 a.m. to 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. So there is an opportunity to place more stricter conditions similar to what we did on a previous item. So again, for discussion for the commission to provide staff direction on.
Thank you. Something we can discuss when we're deliberating. Okay. The public hearing is now closed. Does the planning staff have any recommendation?
Staff recommends approving PLN 23-00136 and the attached resolution.
It is now time for the Planning Commission to deliberate. Do any commissioners have any questions at this time? Or would the commission like to discuss the item? Vice Chair Uva?
I think we need to work on language for the two driveways and maybe restricting the construction time, because 9 PM is pretty late.
It's already dark by 5.
Yeah, and especially this time of year, it's dark. No one's gonna be working once it's dark. So I think we need to work on some language. I don't know what the other commissioners feel.
I agree with Commissioner Uva. I'll second that motion. Commissioner Duarte, do you have any questions?
No questions, but the comments, just general, I think, the two driveways, just to keep that property harmonious with the property surrounding the area. I've never seen just one driveway, so, for a subdivide, so I'd like to see two, just to keep the same flow with the properties adjacent to there. With the time of the construction, I think it's 7 to 9 PM. I think people self-regulate that because I don't see anybody working that late, but that's definitely, we could put some conditions on there for a little tighter window, maybe 8 to 6, something like that. Those are my thoughts.
Commissioner Guerra?
So I'm counting this right now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That lot is so big that it touches 9 houses. Just looking at the aerial map and all that. I mean, it takes, 3/4 of Cole Street if you mapped it out. That's a huge lot. I totally agree on the 2 driveways as being a condition. Is there any way that, and the time, obviously the construction time, that's a no-brainer, and I'll go along whatever my fellow commissioners and what staff recommends. Is there any way that how do we limit this from being 6 units? Is there any conditions or something that we can put that this doesn't become that? I mean, because if we vote on this, they're gonna be able to put they could say they don't want to, but then all of a sudden the money aspect comes in. So you wanna put the ADU and then the ADDU, back there. So is there anything we could do legally so that doesn't become that?
Through the chair, or through staff's response will be 2-part. I will take a stab at the first part, and then I think I'm going to turn it over to our city attorney, John Funk. As I mentioned earlier, the R1 zone allows single-family development. I know I'm repeating myself, fully aware of that, but the state does require all cities to have ordinances that permit by right ADU development and junior ADU developments. The way ADU works is once there's a single family established on a home, one home, a property owner at the same time can develop an ADU concurrently. And in order to exercise their right for a junior ADU would need to come subsequent to the development of the original single-family home and ADU. The reason for that is a junior ADU is allowed when existing square footage of the home is converted to an additional accessory dwelling unit. With that said, there are limitations on what a condition of approval can be placed on a project. Restricting the number of units and preventing the development of junior ADUs and ADUs is not allowable because that would be inconsistent with state law and a government code. And then maybe with that, I'll just turn it over to John to see if there's anything else to add with that regard.
Yes, thank you very much. I would just reiterate that state law is quite prescriptive on this subject, specifically the development of ADUs and junior ADUs, and under the circumstances described by Executive Director Huitrón, they would be permitted on these lots by right. There is nothing locally that can be done to circumvent those requirements that are imposed on localities by state law. The other restrictions that have been discussed, however, are certainly within the deliberation and decision of the council or the commission.
Could we ask questions of the applicant? I know the public hearing is closed, but I'd like to ask them.
Yeah, we can open the public hearing one more time.
From that
So I'm going to open public hearing, and Commissioner Guerra has a question to the applicant. So if the applicant come up.
So who lives in the house now, or is it rented out? No, but isn't the house vacant?
Can we have
Oh,
you
I'm
come
sorry.
up to the podium to, thank you.
Hi, my name is Veronica Gutierrez, and I am Jose Luis Aldai's wife.
So nobody lives in the house?
Nobody lives at the property right now,
How long has that been vacant?
since we purchased the property.
How long ago was that, if I may ask?
Yeah, more than a year.
More than a year?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys have maintained it because the outside
Yes.
looks normal?
Yeah, we take care of it, you know, we take our kids there on the weekends and stuff like that.
And you bought, you bought it as an investment. I'm not putting you down for that. I mean, that's okay. It's a big lot. But do you have any intentions of adding ADUs, or is that something?
No,
Okay. Okay. I mean, thank you. Thank you for
no problem.
being honest. Appreciate that. And you guys maintain it well for being
no,
vacant.
we're taking care of it, we plan on taking care of it, so.
I never knew it was vacant. And
Yeah,
like I
it's,
said, I
it's,
live,
I mean, we go there often because it's vacant. We live in Downey,
okay,
so it's something for our kids' future, so.
okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Do any of the other commissioners have any questions of the applicant? Okay. The public hearing is now closed. Commissioner Guerra, do you have any final comments on the
No,
application?
those conditions on there, you know, the 2 driveways, the hour and so forth, and, you know.
So we have some verbiage on the driveway?
Never tell if this microphone is on. Yes, through the chair, I have developed 2 draft conditions of approval based on the commission's comments for consideration. Condition number 62, for the record, would read, any future development on each parcel shall be developed with a driveway access for each parcel. Seems a little redundant, but we can clean up the grammar on our final conditions of approval. So any future development on each parcel, condition number 62, which would be an additional condition following the last one, any future development on each parcel shall be developed with a driveway serving each parcel.
And
I'm going to add additional language, if I may, Chair. Give me just a moment. A shared driveway between both parcels shall not be allowed. This, just to make it clear to anyone in the future what the intent of that condition is. So that's condition number 62 for your consideration. And number 63, I'm going to need the commission to fill in the blank. Construction shall be limited between 7 a.m. and I need an ending time
and
from the
6
commission.
p.m.? 6 p.m.?
Yeah.
Commissioner, Vice Chair, you're okay? So 6 p.m.?
And just if we can get a little bit more specificity on the days.
Of the week?
Oh, yeah,
Monday through Friday.
yeah.
Would any Saturday construction work be allowed or Sunday?
Do you want to make,
100%, for me, 100% no on Sunday, and I don't know about Saturday. I would think,
What's our code?
yeah, what's our code now?
State now for Saturday.
Every day for those hours.
It's 7 days a week.
Oh, we allow us to have 7 days?
Yes, I think this was a similar
shouldn't do
discussion
that.
from the last meeting. So again, through the commission has purview to be more limiting on those hours. So right now we have Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday,
9 to 5?
9 to 5 p.m. and Sunday I heard no
I agree with
construction.
Commissioner. Sunday, I agree with Commissioner.
No construction?
construction.
So I'll summarize again. Condition number 63 would read, construction shall be limited to the following hours, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Sunday, no construction. would you like to address any legal holidays?
Never thought about it. So, yes, but I don't know, whatever the city holidays are. I don't have a preference.
I think I'm
whatever.
okay with,
Oh, just the-
personally, just the.
Okay. Okay, and then if, just that this was not, just the specificity of the limitations on the construction hours were not discussed with the applicant. So if the chair wishes to obtain any comments or input from the applicant, I think, I'm not sure if, I can't remember if the public hearing.
We've
is-
closed the closed it.
Public comment is closed, so it's up to the chair if we'd like to reopen that for any further discussion with the applicant.
Yeah, we'll be happy to hear from the applicant. The public hearing is now open again. Will the applicant care, is it okay with the hours that we suggested? Yes. Yes. All right, great.
And then, just if I can just say for the record, would you like them to come to the microphone just so that it's on the record?
If I can have somebody.
Yes, we're okay with the hours and any limits you guys impose.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. We're going to close the public hearing now. With the given conditions, what is the pleasure of the Plan Commission? May I have a motion?
Motion to approve PLN-23-00136 with the two conditions, 62 and 63, the two additional conditions added.
And do I have a second?
I'll second it. Sorry.
There's been moved and second. Can we please take a vote?
Commissioner Guerra,
Aye.
Commissioner Duarte,
Aye.
Vice Chair Uva,
Yes.
and Chair Ortiz.
Yes,
Motion passes 4-4.
thank you. Congratulations. The action of the Planning Commission will be final unless the matter is appealed to the City Council with appropriate fee within the next 15-day period set forth in the city's municipal code. Now we're moving to public hearing conditional use permit application PLN-23-00119. Does staff have proof of publication?
Yes.
Will the Community Development Director introduce staff making the presentation tonight?
Thank you, Chair. Tonight we'll have Associate Planner Abraham Luna presenting the item.
Good evening once again. Last on the agenda is conditional use permit for a new wireless communication facility located at 12006 Lakewood Boulevard. The applicant is Greg Peros, representing Verizon Wireless. The property outlined in red is located on the corner of Student Gray Road and Lakewood Boulevard. In yellow, you can see the proposed location for the new antenna. The subject site is part of the Downey Landing Specific Plan, which extends south all the way to Imperial Highway. Properties north of the site are zoned multifamily residential, R3, and single-family residential, R1. Properties to the west are neighborhood commercial, C1, and are developed with retail and restaurant uses. Wireless facilities are proposed in locations to fill in gaps of coverage for a wireless carrier. The site is located on the map as blue, and as shown, the existing coverage areas are in green, yellow, and red. Green being poor coverage and red being the best coverage. The map details the poor coverage, which ultimately prompts the need for a new facility. Here is the new coverage map. The new facility will result in much more service area and fills in the gaps seen on the previous map. The applicant is here today to propose a new wireless communication facility on top of an existing building that occupies the 4 tenants of Verizon Wireless, Philly's Best, Rubio's, and Starbucks Coffee. The antenna will directly be above the Verizon Wireless retail store. The new communication facility will consist of 1 antenna and 3 remote radio units. All other equipment will be stored within the existing Verizon Wireless tenant location. Here's a photo of the photo simulation of the new antenna location from the parking lot directly in front of the Verizon Wireless retail store. The second photo simulation shows the antenna from further south of the site. The commission can note that the antenna is much smaller in size compared to other antennas presented in the past, making it almost unnoticeable to the public. The antenna and remote radio units will be mounted to a steel structure and will be placed on top of the roof of the existing building at a height of 16 foot 10 inches. The existing parapet wall extends 5'6", giving a total height of 22 feet and 4 inches. The steel structure will sit behind the existing parapet that screens the entire structure and remote radio units. The only visible portion of the structure would be the antenna itself, which projects approximately 2 feet above the existing parapet. The height of the antenna complies with the maximum allowed height of 36 feet per the Downey Lining Specific Plan. The location of the steel structure can be seen in red on the roof plan. It is located to the southeast portion of the building and will be placed more than 5 feet away from the parapet walls. The setback will provide additional screening from pedestrian view. In addition, a line of sight study was provided by the applicant, which illustrates the distance an individual will need to be to view the antenna. Points A and B shown on the map shows where the study was taken. The top image illustrates a person will have to be standing 50 feet away along the path of point A to view the antenna, and from along the point path of B, a person will have to be standing 98 feet away. In addition, the antenna will be painted to match the existing parapet wall to improve its concealment with the building. Lastly, staff believes the applicant is proposing the antenna in a location that screens the structure and provides a greater coverage area that benefits the area it's servicing. In conclusion, staff can make all required findings in a positive manner and recommends the Plan Commission adopt the attached resolution and approve PLN 00119. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Do any of my commissioners have any questions of staff? Vice Chair Uva.
I do not. It seems very straightforward. Thank you.
Commissioner Guerra?
So I just want to confirm. So the part that you can't see is 5 feet up on the building. So this is only going to show so much above it, right? Go to the one. The only reason I think I drove around there today. So go back to the stealth looking one. Okay, so that only goes 5 feet and it only goes so many feet above that. So above, you can only see 4 feet or something, right?
Correct. So from the parapet wall, it measures 22 and 4 inches. The antenna itself sticks up 2 feet only above it.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Could you go back a couple more slides on it? Okay, go forward one. Okay, so will they look like that? I ran into the applicant outside and we were cold and in the rain, and I did ask him if we could make sure that it was stealth, that it had the tree. Look at the one before that, sir. Could you go back? See, you know, the next one is so much better than that one. Okay, so is that something we can make a condition of here when we're deliberating? To go to the stealth looking one, the next one, sir? Yeah, that. You see what I'm saying? That the stealth part is the tree looking thing. That looks much better than not having the tree looking thing.
So if I may, I think the tree is not part of the stealth.
No, it's not.
The tree itself is just a background tree that's in the image.
Oh, it's not. That's a background, not a forefront.
Correct.
Oh, I see. Okay.
The zoomed in image on the screen, which is to the top left of your screen, that is the antenna itself that's sticking up partially off of the parapet.
Okay.
If you can see that. That is going to be the same look on all sides.
So what's the tree that we see, the other one?
That's just
Oh,
the-
way
that's
over
just
there on
a
the
tree,
right, at a different angle, okay. Is that what I'm talking?
It's
is that
just a
what-
tree. The,
That's
the
the
other
tree
side.
on the other side of the street. Oh, I see, okay. I was excited because I thought, oh, good, it looks like a tree up there on the roof. Okay, all right. Okay, thank you for that.
Commissioner Duarte?
No questions, staff.
I just have one question. I'm just curious. I know we had a similar project on Sterling Gray and Old River School. Any update on that, or what happened to that project?
So I'm still in contact with them. We did preliminary approve a design, and they are working with AT&T, or I believe it was AT&T, to confirm that that design is what works. Yeah.
That's a
So-
huge difference from what Verizon's doing and what just my
I was-
personal opinion.
I was gonna bring that up, but I thought this is probably two different types of antennas, so
Yeah,
to be fair, AT&T.
if I may, I think the size of the antennas are a big factor in it as well. Compared to the other site on Student and Gray, this antenna is much smaller.
Yeah.
Is this just as effective? I mean, can they all be this small, or no?
I think if maybe if through the chair, if I may, the questions, we're happy to answer questions on the other project, maybe even after this item is over, but
Yeah.
this is a.
Stick to the issue.
Yeah,
That's a
this
nice way
is
to-
I was just curious
a-
of like how this project similar to this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So
And certainly, if I could interject, I could appreciate the interest in comparisons to this project to another one, but that other project is not agendized for its discussion tonight.
all right, thank you so much. Before I open the public hearing and call the applicant or their representative, this will be the time for the planning commissioners to disclose any pre-hearing site visits or pre-hearing discussions that the commissioners may have had about the project. Vice Chair Uva, do you have any?
None.
Commissioner Guerra?
I did read in here that it's being painted the same as the building, right? Okay, all right, yes, no questions.
Commissioner Duarte?
And none for me, thank you.
I go visit that site quite frequently, so that's all I have. The public hearing is now open. Will the applicant or their representative please come forward to give testimony?
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Justin Robinson, representing Verizon Wireless, and I have Greg Peros and Janelle Hartley here with me this evening as well, if you have any additional questions for them. Yeah, seeing that you didn't have any questions regarding the design, just to confirm, this is it's a cylinder antenna, which is 14.5 feet by 24 feet. So it's generally called a small cell or a micro cell, and the footprint is considerably smaller than that of a macro site where Commissioner Guerra was talking about a tree. Those cover much more in relation to this proposed site. We're just looking to cover basically the parking lot for a safety perspective. So, and again, I'd like to thank staff. We did have an opportunity to go through the findings and conditions. We're in agreement with everything, and can answer any other questions that you may have.
Thank you so much. Do any commissioners have any questions to the applicant? Commissioner Guerra?
No.
Commissioner Duarte?
None for me.
And Vice Chair Uva?
None for me.
I have none. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Could you put a tree up there anyway? No.
May staff confirm if there's any correspondence in favor or opposition?
No correspondence was received for this item.
Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor or opposition to the application? Seeing none, the public hearing is now closed. Does the planning staff have any recommendation?
Staff recommends approving PLN 23-00119 and the attached resolution.
It is time for the planning commissioners to deliberate. Do any commissioners have any questions at this time, or would the commissioners like to discuss the item? Vice Chair Uva?
I don't have any questions. I'm willing to make the motion. I don't know if the other commissioners have questions.
I second that motion.
Okay.
Commissioner Guerra,
Aye.
Commissioner Duarte,
Aye.
Vice Chair Uva,
Aye.
and Chair Ortiz.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-4.
The action of the planning commission will be final unless the matter is appealed to the city council with appropriate fee within the next 15-day period as set forth in the city's municipal code. Does the Community Development Director have any additional comments for tonight?
I have no comments.
Do any of my commissioners have any last comments? Vice Chair Uva?
None.
Commissioner Duarte?
None for me.
Commissioner Guerra?
I just want to reiterate what Ms. Urton said about earlier. I want to congratulate you on winning your city council seat, and I assume this might be your last meeting as chair.
It is.
Oh, wow. Oh, pobrecito.
Where's the Portos? Where's the Portos?
Where's the Portos?
No, I'm mistaken. There's another meeting that's technically, not sure if we have items projected for that. We don't have items projected at this time for that meeting, but
We'll
to be
make
determined.
it. We'll
To
make it.
to
We'll
be
make it happen.
determined.
You mean the Temple thing hasn't come back? No.
Oh, okay.
He should be on here for that. Anyways, but I want to congratulate you and thank you, and it's been fun working with you.
No, and I appreciate it, working with everybody, and I'm going to be serving our city in a different capacity, and I'm excited for this future.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate
Don't
it.
screw it up, dude.
I promise I won't. Well, that said, meeting adjourned.